I'm April, your Sergeant at Arms. Our club takes very seriously providing us all with a safe and secure environment for our meeting. We want you to know a high level of trust, honor, and respect for each participant is not only encouraged but required. Masters of Evaluation members are focused on perfecting their speaking, leadership, and evaluation skills, which eliminates any room for personal offense. As Sergeant at Arms, it's my role to share with you a few practices to provide us with a smooth flowing meeting. For example, we ask you to silence your phones. We do want to see you. Hello there, unless you are moving around, eating or drinking. Do remember to turn your camera off if that's the case until you're finished what your activity is, and then you turn your video back on because we want to see you being totally gaga and impressed and thrilled to be here and to be able to participate in such a fine group of people. In order to make our meetings more interactive, we ask everyone to keep your video and attention on. Finally, if you're speaking in serving in a speaking or functionary role, we ask you to rename yourself right now so we can identify what role you serve. These few recommendations will ensure we all have an enjoyable, comfortable, and memorable visit together. I believe recording is on. Yep, it is. And again, please remember to turn your phone back on once our meeting has concluded. You don't want to miss any calls from your fan club. It's now my pleasure to bring to the virtual stage our dynamic, always intentional, fun-loving, elected president of Masters of Evaluation, John White.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I guess that's the second to last time I will hear that, won't I?
Aw.
With two
To be
meetings
treasured.
left. It's been a great year. We have some business to take. I'd like to do it at the end of the meeting when we induct Trudy so we have a more fulsome attendance so the whole club can speak our affirmation of her. But I do want to mention just a little. Well, first of all, let's just introduce our guest, Jackie Williams Joan. I've heard the name. Jackie, introduce yourself to us, those that don't know. Is there a timer? This could 1 to 2 minutes, please, Ray.
No, stop. Hi, I'm Jackie Williams Jones. I've been a Toastmaster since 2013. I am a member of Century City Toastmasters and also Justice Masters, and I've served a couple of roles in District 1. Most recently, I have been helping John and Vicky as in club growth, and will continue to do so as he takes his position in the district. I've heard so much about this club that I had to come and participate at least once. Thanks so much for welcoming me.
Good to see you. Like many, Jackie answers the phone and says yes to Toastmasters. So most recently, an update on her resume, she is a chair or co-chair of the upcoming TLI, which is an in-person event only July 27th. More to come on that.
So if you are in town, please come out.
In person at Cal State Dominguez Hills, like back in the day.
Yeah.
Our last meeting was the 17th. Let's see if I can get this straight. The next day was the spring conference. Seems like it was ages ago. For the record, I know you were all there in spirit, but some were actually there and paid and had a butt in the seat, as Vicky would say. Shout out to the following attendees that supported the district and represented Masters of Evaluation. Pamela Brody, am I getting that right? Pamela competed for another club, but she showed Masters of Evaluation quality. John Graham was there. Muriel Shabazz, Eunice Downing Jackson, Jesper, Vicky Trabosh. She was the international speech contestant Toastmaster. What a fine job she did. It was just wonderful. Shantae Howard, Harold G. is tall. He is a tall, handsome man in person. Yes, tall, right? Vicky, you agree with that? And then Brad Stauffer, who used to be with us, he was a past district director, current regional advisor, was there. So thank you for everyone who was able to attend. As I said, hey, John Graham, some people get COVID and just say I can't live up to my responsibilities. Others say the heck with it. I'm going to show up. John Graham, a quick health update. How are you feeling?
Well, thank you, John. I'm doing okay. You know, better than the last time I got it.
Okay, great, great. And we're always making ourselves better. It's not butts in the seats, it's cheeks in the seats. I apologize for misrepresenting what came out of Mrs. Trabash's mouth. Okay, we've got a full crowd now. Let's do an induction. How about that? Okay, I don't think we have the breakout room technology. In the past, we've eschewed that. Are we all up for having Miss Trudy Young as the newest member of Masters of Evaluation? If so, raise your hands and say aye. Aye. I think we all have ayes. Great, that's wonderful news. So we have this induction, Trudy. I'm going to say about 5, 6, 7, it might be almost 10 promises that you make to us. And at the end of them, if you agree, say I do. And then after that, the members have promises to you and ways that we can support you. So if we could go through that now, I will try to read it clearly. Trudy Charles Young, as a member of Toastmasters International and Masters of Evaluation, will you promise to attend club meetings regularly, to prepare all of your projects to the best of your ability based on the Toastmasters educational program, to prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments, to provide fellow members with helpful constructive evaluations, to help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow, to serve your club as an officer when called upon to do so, to treat your fellow club members and guests with respect and courtesy, to bring guests to club meetings so that they can see the benefits of Toastmasters, to adhere to the guidelines and rules for all Toastmasters educational recognition programs, and finally, to act within Toastmasters' core values. These are important: integrity, respect, service, and excellence during the conduct of all Toastmasters activities. Do you, Trudy? If you could unmute, I didn't hear.
I do. Should I say 10 times?
She's funny too. One was enough, but you can say it. It will echo at least 10 times in our heart. Members, do you make this promise to Trudy Charles Young? Do you agree to help her on her journey through the Toastmasters program and to provide positive and constructive feedback, encouragement, and a safe place to practice and grow? Do you? Unmute, please, and say 1, 2, 3. Yes,
Yes, we do.
Trudy, of course.
Thank you.
It is official. Let's all applaud. That was wonderful. Trudy, I speak for others. When you visit us many times, I thought one day in our dreams, she might join us. And that day is here. So with that, we now move on to the rest of our meeting. It's my pleasure to turn the lectern over to our Toastmaster of the day. She's also our VP of Education, which is a very tall order. She's a Pathways Ambassador. She's one of the authors of SNAP Evaluations and always giving new energy and creative ways to keep the club vital and expanding and improving and elevating so we can maximize our impact on the world. Sandra Savage.
Thank you, John. I may not be as tall as Harold G., but I am 6 feet tall, so that's a lot to carry around. Anyways, I have a special day today that I'd like to announce as our theme, and I love it. I absolutely love it, and it's in line with giving John Graham some of our chicken soup, and today is National Caring Day. Now, this is a fairly recent holiday that's been declared around the world. And I have a very short description of what it is. Shines a spotlight on how we connect and show each other how much we care. After all, shouldn't we be doing that every day? I agree. But today we charge you to go out and do a little bit extra. Sprinkle a little salt, pepper, or seasoning you have to make someone's day super fabulous. Caring is something we can continue. It's contagious, not like COVID being, well, COVID is contagious, but not as, it's better than COVID. So care a little bit more today, and that is our theme that Tamara is going to incorporate into her table topics today. But before we get started, let's have our general evaluator, Judith. You have a whole team of people that you're going to have help you run this meeting smoothly. Can you introduce them and what you'd like them to tell us about?
Thank you. I think we are all Toastmasters. We don't need to go through exactly what the timer does. We need to have, Shante is not here, so maybe we could ask Jackie to be our grammarian, or Ore, sorry, you volunteered. Do you want to be a grammarian?
I'm always happy to help, Judith.
Okay, so there you are. So Jackie, you may be an evaluator because one of our evaluators are not here. So you may be the first evaluator. Okay, as general evaluator. Okay, so the timer is, let me see, there's people with their chats. I can't actually see. John Graham, so please put your reaction hand up. So then you'll be replacing Vicky at the corner on my screen. And so tell us about what are the timing of different speeches? No?
No,
He doesn't know. Okay, let's see.
Judy is 4 to 6 and Pamela is 5 to 7.
Okay, so John, I guess you have the colors, right? You don't speak. I can't hear you.
Ray's going to be your timer, I believe.
No, John was the timer originally. So.
Thank you.
Yes, I'll be doing the timing, and I guess we have Pamela at 5 to 7. Vicky was going to be how long?
It's not Vicky, it's Trudy is the other speaker.
Judy.
Do you have the...
Trudy is the
4 to 6.
icebreaker 4 to 6. The agenda is in the chat if you want to download it so you can see it.
Yes. Okay. All right. So then we'll have that. Hopefully he has the colors. And we have, okay, Ray, the grammarian. Unfortunately, you have to come up with the word at some point.
I'm ready when you are.
Okay. All right. So tell us the word.
Diversity is today's word. Diversity.
Okay.
So what does that mean? Do you want me to explain it to you? The state of being diverse or a variety. The practice or quality of including or involving people from a range of different social and ethnic backgrounds or of different genders, sexual orientations, and being diverse enough to take on any role, drop of a hat. Back to you.
Thank you. Could you please put it in the chat for us? And let's see, let me look at this. Okay, so evaluator 1 is David Thompson. He is not here, so that will be Jackie. Thank you very much. I think that's all. Is there another person that I need to introduce? I think, yeah, this is the team. Okay, well, thank you. And I will introduce the evaluators later, and then I will have an evaluation of the meeting as well. So back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Well, let's go ahead and start our morning, afternoon, or evening with a couple of wonderful speeches. I'm especially excited to hear our first, well, I'm looking forward to both, actually. But Pamela and I have had a chance to chat over the last week and have gotten to know her a little bit. And she's going to be giving us a speech today. And were you able to send that information over to Jackie? Okay, Jackie, would you care to introduce Pamela and her speech?
Well, John so kindly offered to take over the evaluation portion, but since Pamela already sent me her introduction.
I have just arrived. Sorry. Computer problems, but now I'm here. If you can all hear me, don't worry if you can't see me.
We can hear you.
Okay, David, thank you.
Right. I'm very pleased to introduce Pamela Brodie, a former Girl Scout leader And as with her last speech, she was very determined to become a leader as well as a good speaker. What she would really like us to look at today is her ability to speak forcefully and effectively, and particularly if the ending of her speech has impact, and whether indeed she has reached a sufficiently high level yet to be paid to speak. Please welcome Pamela Brodie with a speech entitled Sticks and Stones. Sticks and Stones, please welcome Pamela Brodie.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can destroy. You see, I think we got the whole tale of backwards, because sticks and stones, I mean, they create scars, right? Who's got a scar in the room? Come on, let's see it. Hold it up. Hold it up. Oh, good. I thought, John, you were going to take out your pants or something. It was hiding somewhere. Your scars, I don't know. Where might the scars be, right? I've heard some people go, oh, they're in places I don't want to know. But every one of you, raise your hand. Every one of you, keep them up if you know where that scar is, right? And I bet when you think about that scar, I bet it evokes a positive emotion. See, I've got a scar right here. I got it when I was 5 years old. I reached into our golden retriever to get the kitchen towel from my mom, and I got chomped on. But when I look at that, it doesn't break me. It makes me feel brave about myself, right? Like, hey, I was good. I tried to take care of my mom, my family. Did you all feel that way when you look at your scar? Like, I lived through it, right? Maybe somebody, but you survived it. And it makes us feel great. But words, we don't wear those on our sleeves. We don't wear the impact of what those words may have done to us. Maybe the words that someone said to you stopped you from pursuing your dreams, stopped you from asking out someone that you might have been interested in. Maybe the words were just things you told yourself that you couldn't do, that stopped you dead in your tracks. For me, words completely destroyed me. When I was 23 years old, I moved out to Los Angeles to pursue a career in improv and sketch comedy. I went to the best place you could go to study, the Groundlings School of Improv Comedy. For those of you who might not know the Groundlings, you actually really do. You see, people that have come out of there have been Sherry O'Terry, Will Ferrell, Pee Wee Herman, Rita Rudner, Lisa Kudrow, Jennifer Coolidge. The list goes on and on. See, every year, Lorne Michaels, the producer of Saturday Night Live, comes out to the Groundlings and checks out the final production and handpicks people that can be part of Saturday Night Live. That's what I wanted. So I jumped right in. I did my first level, then got invited to the second level. See, each level you have to get invited to the next and the next. I got to writing lab, which is a pretty big deal. It was a 1-year waiting list. And I waited. I worked on my improv skills. I was ready to go when I got the call. I was so excited that my teacher was Patrick Bristow. Okay. So Patrick is a C-level actor, not one of the A-listers that I described, but one of those guys that you see in the grocery store and you're just like, how do I know you? I've seen you before, right? That was Patrick. So my first scene was with this guy named Andrew, and Andrew and I jumped right into it. We played these funny little Jewish vaudeville performers, got it wrong. We tore it up. We had so many laughs. We felt so good about ourselves. But then at the end, Patrick came in with his comments. You think that was funny? That was awful. I was mortified. I was embarrassed. I didn't have the confidence in writing. I mean, I thought this was where we learned to write. This was my first shot at it. And he completely tore me down. I let those words stop me. I gave up. I mean, the end of writing lab, we actually got to get on stage, the same stage that these comedic greats were on. And I wasn't in it. I knew I wasn't going anywhere because I listened to Patrick's words and allowed it to break my belief in myself. Now, a few years later, I was flipping through Netflix and there it was, Barry. Has anyone seen the show Barry? It's a fantastic show. If you haven't seen it, it's about a serial hitman that goes to an acting class and becomes an actor because of Henry Winkler, the teacher. Well, who would play Henry Winkler's son? Andrew. What? I IMDb'd him. I Googled him for actors. What? Where was he? He had writing credits. He had a huge career. The same scene, the same words broke me. But either he used them to empower him or he just didn't care. Words are so powerful. Whose words are we listening to? Then after I met this amazing woman named Deborah, and she was a writing coach. And I told her, I have this story. It's a life story I could never make up. It's crazy. I've always wanted to do a play, one-woman show, The Search for Chocolate. She said, that's great. You should write that. And then I joined her writing class and she encouraged me. And then I'd bring pages and people in the class would say, that's great. Give us more. I started to build up my belief. I started to hear the positive words like we do in Toastmasters. Some good, some criticism, right? I kept moving. And then I did it. I wrote a 90-minute show and I delivered it to 3 sold-out performances at the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Words create worlds. Who are we being? Are we being a Patrick or a Deborah? Well, we all know everyone in this room is a Deborah. Encouraging. That's why we're part of Toastmasters. Encouraging and then giving some feedback. But also, who are we listening to? And whose voices are in our head? Our words create worlds. So I want to invite you all to give those words out in the world and to spread them and create incredible worlds. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you. Let's put 90 seconds on the clock to give some feedback to Pamela on her speech. Okay. Moving on to our second and exciting speech today, we have Miss Trudy, and I'm going to let Vicki introduce her to you and tell us a little bit about her and her speech. Vicki.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. It is my great honor to introduce our newly inducted member, Trudy Young. Trudy hails from the island of Aruba, a Caribbean Dutch Aruban from a multicultural, multinational, and multilingual community known as the Dutch Antilles. She joined Toastmasters in 2021, and her title for her icebreaker today, out of the dynamic leadership path, is Being Me, Afro-Caribbean, Aruban, now Afro-American. Trudy Young.
Thank you, Toastmaster, for this, my first speech here. I should be shaking and being nervous, but okay, I'm calm. Everything is fine. I will introduce myself, as I said, as an Afro-Caribbean. But before I do that, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my region. my region is the Caribbean, but my parents comes from a little island called Grenada. And in Grenada, predominant people that were living there are Blacks, descended from Black heritage of Africa during slave time. And they moved to Aruba. So I became the first generation Black Caribbean originally from from Grenada to Aruba. So I am an Afro-Aruban. How many people know when I say Aruban, what am I talking about? I'm talking about a little island right here. You see it, Aruba? It's a little Dutch island, and I'm very proud of that island because the island developed post-war, I would say, to a very great island economically. But before that, it was a very, very poor island. They chose Aruba to develop the island, the Americans, because of the oil company in Venezuela, and they actually put Aruba on the map. They put it on the map because the island had the largest oil company there, and with that, it brought a lot of diversity. People from all over the island, on the world and islands flocked to live there. They developed the economy, and we have remained a booming island to this day, with the exception that the oil company decided they're going to modernize. So they laid off a lot of people in the Caribbean that was working there, and they all moved back to their islands, and they helped develop the economy in the Caribbean basin. So I would say I am from the Caribbean basin, and the economy there is some up and some down. It all depends where you have been in the past. As I said, my people are from Grenada. I was educated on the small island of Aruba that is multicultural because of all the different people that came from all over the world to work there. Many have left when diversity established itself. Many has left to their own country, but diversity remained on the island. The very first language we spoke was Papiamento. Papiamento is a language that's made up of so many different languages, but it came actually from a slave trade language, the Portuguese. So papia means talking. Anybody who understands Spanish, will know what papia means talking. First the Dutch, the Papiamento, I call Papiamento indigenous language, in 2003 the official language because we fought for it to become the official language. Nobody wanted to have Dutch as the main key language. And you have Spanish and you have English and all the other languages around us. So we are multilingual, multinational people, and we're very proud of that because it is taught in school. And so we are very diverse in our educational system. We really had to be like that because if we wanted to study, if we wanted to do anything forward looking in our lives, we had to leave the island. So most of us went to Europe to study, and a lot of us returned back home. I returned back home. I spent 4 years there, and then I decided to migrate to Canada. Why Canada? I didn't really want to go to the States, even though we had an oil company there. They always had that separation. I'm American and you are the local people. So I thought, no, I'll go to the English-speaking countries, which is Canada. And I do not regret being an Afro-American, I would call it. I have in my introduction Afro-American, meaning that we mixed with the Americans, but we also have the same problems and the same historical past as we have seen in the Caribbean, historical past, Black African background. So therefore, I consider myself a Black Afro-American, the Caribbean Basin, USA, connection with Black Talk, and Canada, where I worked and I developed myself. I was very happy to be here because it's a very dynamic community. I studied in the sciences, speaking English in this kind of way is not my deal. I'm more a science teacher. But however, being here, it will help me because I'm motivated also now that I'm retired to be more involved with activities that can help move my people forward. My people meaning people who are more, even though in a diverse community, who have to struggle to make ends meet. No matter how educated you are, you really have to struggle. So therefore, for me, it is wonderful to be in a community like this where I can see myself grow and help others. And that's exactly what I'm doing, being connected with several different Toastmaster clubs and choosing my pathways that help me develop in that direction. I am here because I want to be able to speak more powerfully and also have you evaluate me to lead me in that direction. So I want to be dynamic in my leadership, not necessarily being a president or anything like that, but very convincing in what I have to say, to bring the message to you in a very great and good way that you will be convinced to make changes for those who need it. Hopefully, this can help me help other communities around me. And hopefully also others, not even being Black, Afro-Americans, will be able to follow me and help grow that path for those who need the diversity to raise themselves in many different ways. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Trudy. My head is filled with information. Let's put 90 seconds on the clock so that we can send either privately or publicly our feedback to Trudy. Okay. Well, Trudy was very diverse today, and that is our word for the day, diversity. So let's make sure that we use it during SNAP evaluations. I'm going to put in the chat an overview if for those of you who are new to SNAP evaluations. But our table topics master tomorrow, is going to ask a question. You have your typical 1 to 2 minutes to reply. And then she's going to pick on some unsuspecting person to evaluate the person who just replied. And that reply evaluation should be in 30 to 60 seconds. So with that, tomorrow, let's have some diverse questions on World Caring Day.
Okay, knowing the theme of today's meeting, I have picked the quotes to represent diversity of styles. Some will be lyrical, some will be humorous. So it's like in a potluck, whoever gets what. But please pay attention to responses because you never know who is going to be invited for a SNAP evaluation. And please remember, 1 minute for evaluation, and please be original and offer fresh ideas and try to get to the point and be sure to include an impression and also your suggestion in that 1 minute. Okay, let's start. Take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. Let's ask Judith, please.
Thank you for the question, Madam Table Topic Master. Absolutely true. I completely agree. Take care of one's body. It is the most important thing. Yes, that is the only place we live in. Sometimes we think of our bodies that it's just we are different age and we don't have to worry about things because our body just take care of itself. But then comes the time. Then we find out, oops, well, it's not exactly the way it is. We developed this and then the other thing. And so then there we are. We have to take care of our body. Also, we have to take care of our skin. I am an esthetician. So I spent my 40 some odd years of telling people, You have only one face, one body. Take care of it. Because what happens is many, many, many years later, people say, oh, I wish I spent more time. I took care of my face. I know it's not important to every single person that we have to look 25 or whatever it is people say want to look like. But the main thing is what's important is for us to say how our body works. We look in the mirror and say, that's not too bad for the age I am. So I am glad I took care of it. So that's what I think about this. Thank you for the question.
Okay, thank you. Very, very interesting, very useful answer. Okay, now we will ask April to give a snap evaluation, some comments. Maybe you will build on a little bit, please.
I think I just got unmuted. Thank you so much, Judith. I love how you hung your shingle out on us with being so involved with one's skin. But there was so much of this gesturing going on, honey. That was distracting to me. What's she talking about? But she's gesturing all over the place. So since you're talking about skin, and in particular facial, I would have much preferred you go like this and talk to us about what was going on, because you're in touch with your face and I am not distracted. I am really looking at your face and I'm trying to come face to face with the facts. We all have our wonderful faces and we need to take care of them as well as the rest of the equipment. This is our duty and our privilege. But quit distracting me with all this other extraneous stuff. No. Let's just face the facts. Thank you, Judith. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, April. So in such an interesting way, you played with the word face as a noun, as a verb. Wonderful, thank you. And you made to make a suggestion in this short evaluation. Thank you. Next quote. Only those who care about you hear you when you are quiet. Let's ask Vicky, please.
Wow. When I'm quiet, they only care about me? Is that what you said, Tamara?
Only those who care about you can hear you when you are quiet.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I agree. The last time I was really quiet, was when I had a tracheostomy in February of 2023. I had surgery for oral cancer, and I had a tracheostomy, and I had tubes, and I couldn't talk. And I was surrounded by a care team who was like ants on a picnic. They were on me because there was a lot that could go wrong. My blood pressure dropped to 60 over something. They were worried about everything. And there was one person I would allow to be there, and that was John. I didn't want family there. I looked pretty bad. And I was quiet. And in my quiet, I could hear John, and I listened to all the caregivers. And I was not in pain per se. I was very uncomfortable because feeding tubes and gastric or nasal gastric tubes and tracheostomies and tubes all over the place, quieted my soul. And I could hear from the people there. And I used to watch. I was in intensive care for 7 days, and it's usually glass. And I would look down along the bottom of the glass and wait for John's leather loafers to come by. And he'd come in the room and he'd be quiet and he'd hold my hand. And I knew I was loved. Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you. Very touching, very sincere, very vulnerable, probably, points you shared with us. Thank you. And now we will ask Sandra to give a snap evaluation, her opinion, please.
Thank you. I was just writing down some lovely thoughts that I heard from Vicky that resonated with me. And the greatest moments are those that are I paraphrase, the greatest moments are those that you can spend with people without talking. And if someone cares about you, they know how you're feeling. They know what you're going through. They want to, a lot of times, take over the pain for you. And with Vicky, this could be a whole series of speeches talking about, and I know you do, on a number of different locations. And you talk about what you've gone through, and you always talk about your husband so lovingly. And yet you wanted to protect him, which I thought was fantastic. I have no recommendations other than, just we also know that when you're quiet, to be scared a little bit. And I'm sure that your husband goes through those as well, but just a little bit of humor because it was so from the heart that we needed a little tiny release from that. So just a sprinkle of humor, and it was lovely. Thank you, Vicki.
Thank you, Sandra. Now, the next one from our potluck. Loving yourself isn't vanity, it's sanity. And we will ask John White to answer this, to comment on this, whether he agrees or not.
Say it one more time. Loving yourself what?
Loving yourself isn't vanity, it's sanity.
I love that one. I love that one.
I knew you would like it. That's why I picked you.
No, because I talk a lot, and some people that are critical of me think it's out of vanity. And I'm always trying to convince myself that my talking and sharing and my energy and encouragement is a two-way street. It isn't always about me, but it's always about towing that line. And am I doing it more for me than for somebody else? Yeah, I mean, to love yourself is the greatest gift that there is. And if I'm being honest, it's probably one of the toughest things that I've faced in my life. I find it easier to love and encourage other people, but I know if I don't love myself, I'm drawing from a well that'll be empty. So I get that circle of love, if you will. I find it easier to be hard on myself. But in later life, I understand how critical it is, because at least for me in my earlier life itself loved me, and the self-love didn't seem to be as necessary, if you will, because it was being filled by other people. And I think as you get older, you realize ultimately you have to draw from yourself and replenish that, if you will, so that you can give more to those that you do love. Thank you for that question.
Thank you. Very interesting new ideas about looking at yourself as a well which you don't want to become empty. Okay, Mariori, we will ask you to give a snap evaluation, maybe add something.
You got me. I can do it. I was typing and I didn't hear what he was saying. I'm sorry, John.
Or then maybe you will just give your opinion on that same question. Loving yourself isn't vanity, it's sanity. Would you like to?
Of course, it's sanity. Yes. If I don't love myself, who is going to love me more? Nobody. I don't think so. And I have to take care of my own body in order for me to take care of others. For example, if I'm not well, how I'm going to take care of my elderly mother that is 93 years old and she is living with me, and I have to take her to the doctor, take her to the beauty shop to get her medicine. I have to be well. And that way, if I'm doing the proper things for my own body, I can take care of her. Also, if I don't do it for me. I cannot take care of my husband, that he is driving me crazy all the time, and I have to work on that. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Very logical, very interesting, very vivid examples from your own life and experience. Thank you, Marioli. The next one is a tough one, and we will probably ask Jackie to answer it, but everybody please listen carefully. There's a greatness in not caring what people think. How about that? Do you agree or disagree? There's a greatness in not caring what people think.
That's a very good question. And I believe that that is true, although there might be a diversity of thought about that. When you are trying to get something done, or sometimes you're just trying to exist in the world, it doesn't pay all the time to care what other people think of you. If I knew what people thought of me as I maybe but told people I was a French teacher. Well, you're a Black woman. You should be teaching in an inner city school to help those little kids. And I said, no, I am teaching at a suburban private school because how else are children going to know what a middle-class Black woman looks like, an educated one who has a master's degree? How are they going to know? So I don't really care about your answer. And sometimes you can't care if you're trying to do what you feel is right. Did Martin Luther King care? No. Well, maybe a little bit, but he still did what he needed to do. And fortunately, my uncle just went with him. And I know my uncle didn't care about what people thought. He did what he wanted to do. So think about it. If you are really trying to get something done in your world, your body, your family, sometimes you have to care about what you want to do and not care about what people are saying or talking about or what they think you should do, because maybe they don't have your right interest in mind and maybe they don't know what you're trying to do. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. And now let's listen to what Ray thinks about it, about the problem, meaning the question, and the answer. Ray, please give a snap evaluation.
Jackie, I'm sure everyone will agree, and we are all grateful for your anticipated arrival onto the scene. I love the way you started by agreeing with the Table Topics Master, then using the word of the day, then leading into your opening. You shared with us the value of your experience and the ethos behind it. You even referred to Martin Luther King. You went full circle and you questioned us to think about not caring about what people think. I think it was an excellent table topic, a first impression to the audience. My only point to give you is don't throw it away at the end with a little thank you. End with impact. Back to you, Tamara.
Thank you. You managed to involve suggestions in such a little amount of time. Very interesting suggestions. Thank you. Okay, now, next quote. All you need is love, but a little chocolate now and then doesn't hurt. Let's ask David, please. I can repeat. All you need is love, but a little chocolate now and then doesn't hurt.
Well, I hardly ever eat chocolate, except when I want it. And I've survived for many years without love. I'm so strong and so tough, except when I'm asked a question like yours, Madame topics master, and you get to the heart of things. Yes, I would like to be loved just a little bit more, and I would like chocolate just occasionally, just a little bit more to keep me going. So there it is, a little more love and a lot more chocolate, preferably not at the same time, because I couldn't digest the two of them. But however I get them, I would be very fond of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Very interesting improvisation around these two words, love and chocolate. Very playful, very interesting. Now let's ask Pamela. Pamela, I know that you have made a speech, and usually we do not bother the people who have already done their share, but we don't have enough people. We have plenty of time, not enough people. So I hope you would like to improvise a little bit in giving snap evaluation to David, please.
Well, I'm an expert on chocolate. My one-woman show is called The Search for Chocolate. So you had to ask me, Tamara. David, how sweet was that? It made me laugh when you said, only when I want chocolate. I get it only when I want it. Like, to you, didn't like it so much. For a lot of us chocoholics, it's like, I want it all the time. So I thought it was very sweet and very vulnerable of you to share that, I want a little more love in my life. And I think it really brought us into enduring, of you and your sweetness, because you show up with such a loving kindness about you and around you. So I think we all want that for you. So I loved your vulnerability in sharing that connection. I would even say, I guess the only thing I would have said is, have more, you could have just maybe had a little more fun with the love and the child. I don't know, maybe brought into a Beatles song, All You Need Is Love. I don't know. With your accent, maybe that's all I was thinking. But David, you did a wonderful job. So I thought it was very sweet. Lots of love and a little bit of chocolate coming your way.
Thank you very much. Wonderful. Wonderful. It's like you were playing, what would it be? Badminton, back and forth with David, with these words, love and chocolate, more or less. Wonderful. Okay, thank you. And now such a question, such a quote. Self-care is like the foundation for caring about others. It helps you build a stronger, more caring you. Let us ask Trudy, please. I know that you also already had your share of excitement and nervousness probably preparing for your speech, but you said you wanted to learn to improvise. So here is your chance. I'll repeat. Self-care is like the foundation for caring about others. It helps you build a stronger, more caring you. Trudy, please.
Self-care is like the foundation about caring about others. Yes, indeed it is. Because when you care about others, you not only care about others, but everybody else around them. You help them to grow. You help them to find their ways in life. And at the same time, you are also learning from them as you try to go through that path with them. Right now, I am in a situation where I'm helping, what would I call this person? He just came into Canada. He does not speak English. And I'm a great gardener. And he works with me in the garden. And how do I make him understand what I want him to do while we're working in the garden? So we work facing each other, that he knows I care about the fact that he understands what I'm trying to say. And I show him how he has to do it. And then he repeats it after me. And by that, I know he is learning. Then he comes back the next day and he tries to repeat the same things that I tell him using different words. And is it okay? And I say, yes, it's okay. We understand each other. And soon you will be speaking blah, 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 to everybody else. So that is a wonderful experience by helping others grow in so many different ways. It's not only helping within a community, but you can do it one-on-one. You can do it within your family. You can do it with your brothers and sisters or with your grandchildren. No matter how you do it, it brings beautiful experience life into your life that makes it more enriched. Back to you.
Thank you so much. How very interesting this connection, the examples. Now we will ask Shante to comment on this, to give a snap evaluation, please.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm honored to be able to give a snap evaluation to Trudy because I love Trudy so much. Trudy, you have such a diverse way in presentation in between your table topics and your speech. So it was great to hear you speak from the heart. I loved your style of storytelling and talking about the garden and talking about how your love of yourself influenced others in the garden. I would have enjoyed hearing more about what you do when you're not around other people. What do you do when, to just debrief so that you can be prepared to help other people, right? Do you read a book? Do you drink a glass of red wine? Do you take a bath? Do you take a walk? I would have wanted to know a little bit more about what does Trudy do to de-stress? But I thought it was I thought how you presented it was lovely in your storytelling. So thank you for that. Back to you, Madam Table Topics.
Thank you. We have time, as I can see, for one more question, quote. And we will do like this. We will ask Ray to answer the question. And then I would like to ask for a volunteer, anybody, because we have already given the chance to speak to practically everyone, if I'm not mistaken. Then somebody would like to do it one more time. So please raise your hand, say, I would like to give a snap evaluation to Ray's short
I haven't
speech.
snapped today.
Okay, wonderful. So please listen. The key to being a caring person is to have a listening ear, a kind heart, and a candy bag big enough to share with the whole world. I'll quickly repeat. The key to being a caring person is to have a listening ear, a kind heart, and a candy bag big enough to share with the whole world. Okay, Ray, please, and then John will give a snap evaluation.
Well, aren't we lucky that at Toastmasters, one of the first skills we learn to do is listen. Listen from the heart, a caring heart. Now, if we go to see John over in the UK, we know he's got chocolate in his candy bag. But the question is he going to share it with the rest of us? And we know he's got a caring, kind heart. And we all love a bit of chocolate, don't we? It's so diverse. It doesn't matter where you go in the world. And you can look at Trudy's screen and she'll show you a map of the world. But we all love chocolate, no matter where we're from. And we've all got hearts that are bursting with care for each other. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Okay. John, since you volunteered, you must have something interesting.
I don't know where to start. I don't know where there's all this talk about love, self-care, and all of a sudden goodies are being thrown into the bag. Ray, it was a word salad. It was all there. There was your charisma, your kindness. But I ask you, I posit, what man can have a kind heart and an ear and not share his candy? Then you degraded the candy to chocolate. It was all there, Ray, but on a take two, clearly you would be sharper. You didn't end with power as you've suggested to your respondee. I thought that there was an ending there, but you were trying 3 or 4 of them. As I reach into my candy bag and give it all to you, Ray, try it again. I love hearing your voice. I know you have a heart. I think you maybe ate too much chocolate today and it got to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, all of you. I really enjoyed this teamwork, this joint participation of everybody, and we all had the diversity of opinions, and I'm sure we all had fun. I did for sure. I kept laughing, and I don't know what will happen to my face because of so much laughing and smiling. I'll consult Judith later about it. I don't want any additional wrinkles, but at the same time, I know that laughter is very helpful to the health, and a day without laughter is a day wasted. Thank you again, everybody, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Let's give a round of applause for Tamara. I love the diversity of questions. Life is but a box of chocolates, and we've got a full deck here. And before we move on to Judith's general evaluation of the meeting and taking over that last third, John, would you provide us with a timer's report so far?
Certainly, I'd be happy to. We had Pamela at 7 minutes, 10 seconds within parameters. We had Judy at 6 minutes, 52 seconds, just a little over, tad over, but wonderful speech. And then for our table topics, we had Judith at 146, followed by April at 52 seconds. We had Vicky at 156, followed by Sandra at 125. We had John at 128, followed by Mayori at 102. We had Jackie at 147, followed by Ray at 45. David at 104, followed by Pamela at 113. Trudy at 152, followed by Shantae at 112. And Ray at 51 seconds, and John at 46. That's a mouthful. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Good job. And I do really appreciate the use of the timer and the technology. It's great to be able to, at a glance, look up and see where we are on our speeches. So now we are at the last third of our meeting, and we're right on schedule. So let's turn the meeting over to Judith, who is going to be giving the last third with all of our feedback on how we've done so far. Judith.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. This is the part of the Toastmaster meeting that I think is the one of the most important one, is to have evaluation and have the evaluator give suggestion to the speaker how they could do better the next time. Our first evaluator is Thomas, who's going to evaluate Pam's speech. Welcome, Thomas. No, David. I'm sorry, I am. I put the wrong thing. Okay, David is, sorry, this is your evaluation time. I mixed up the names.
Right, don't worry, I've been called all sorts of things in my life, including Mr. Thompson. Right, let's turn to Pamela. Now, what did you make of her speech? I have one word that encapsulates it to me, and that is the word energy, because it was all go and it was wonderful and it was all exciting. Now, what strength did come through to me when I looked beyond that? I felt this was clearly structured. I could follow the way that she was going. However, I would make 2 or 3 suggestions. I felt that she really needed to change her language at times and include that critical word, you, because no audience will listen to you or even pay you if you're not going to focus on you. So I think look through what you're saying, what you're planning to say, and listen to it again and just see if you can put the word you in at certain strategic points so that you draw people's attention back to themselves. Because we've all had problems to face, and we've had some sticks and we've had some stones. Many of us anyway, some maybe not, but I think most of us have had some sticks and stones. So I think include the words you quite often and in different ways. What would you have done in this situation? I wonder how you would have felt. So have a go at trying that. And would you have shared that feeling of disappointment? Or would you have shared that excitement of how you had finally met somebody, the Patricia, who had really given you strong and supportive feedback? But overall, I thought this was a powerful speech with lots of energy and lots of strength for a very young woman comparatively, and at the early starts of her career on the stage in whatever direction you choose to go forward. So I'm glad you found Toastmasters. I'm glad you found us. And you have a wonderful word with words, and you have a wonderful word with us. The impact of the ending was much stronger this time. So please go ahead and keep it strong, but with those breaks in and looking more at the audience so that they feel fully involved. But it was a strong one. Keep going, girl. Thank you.
Thank you, David. And now Vicky is going to evaluate through this speech. Welcome, Vicky.
Thank you. Let me remove pins and add pins and all kinds of good stuff here. Where is my Trudy? There she is. Okay. Thank you very much. Trudy, thank you for that beautiful speech. You epitomized diversity. And I'm going to start by telling you how to improve by showing you how you did it. Now, if anyone watched her speech and then watched her table topic, what did you notice? Did you notice the difference on where she was looking? You know, Trudy, you are a teacher. You are an educator. You are a leader. You did not need your notes to the level that you watched them. It's nerve-wracking. You said you weren't nervous. I think you were a little nervous, or you would have kept your eye on the screen. I could not find Aruba on your map. I am geographically challenged, and I see it right now to the left of your ear, but I think it was covering your head a little bit. My suggestion, if you're going, yep, there you go. And then if you point over your shoulder, we could have seen where it was, but that's all kind of technical stuff. It might have also helped if when you took the screenshot, you circled Aruba. Now it would have stayed circled through the whole thing, but help us orient. I was busy looking at all these islands, realizing I got to get to that part of the world. And it takes my mind away from what you have to say. When you give a speech like this, think about what you would do if you were having coffee with someone. Before we got started in our pre-meeting, you were talking about a lot of the same things. You weren't looking at your notes. You were absolutely telling some of the same story beautifully. And I'm going to challenge you as you get your voice out there to let go of your heavy usage of your notes. Glance down, then look up and start again. Because when you're looking down and you're reading, like, here's what I have to say. You have a wonderful voice, so lyrical and easy to listen to, versus Trudy, you have a wonderful voice. It's so lyrical. It's so easy to listen to. Which impacts you greater as a listener when I am looking at you on the screen? Now, I've got us pinned, so I'm kind of looking sideways. I'll look right into the camera. Your message is great. You ran out of time. You ran out of runway. If that was a plane, you would have ended up in the marsh right past the runway. You saw the light change, and you came to a screeching halt. I think if you took out a little of the history, you could have controlled your message. And that is the power of what you have to bring. Thank you for this beautiful speech. Oh, the other thing, it said 4 to 6 minutes. You needed 5 to 7. Ask for it next time. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Vicky. That was really great. Okay, so now I am going to ask for a functionality report. Ray, please, the grammarian, tell us how we did.
Oh, we functioned very well this
Diversity, that's
evening.
a perfect word.
You, Judith, we functioned extremely well this evening, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are in the world. We got the word diversity in 2 different types of pronunciation, diverse and diversity. Sandra gave it to us twice in both forms. Tamara, you came with us diversity. Vicky, you used it. Shantae. Trudy, you used it twice in your speech, which was absolutely wonderful. But guys, I wonder, were you really listening this evening? So I've got a few expressions from tonight's meeting, and I need you to just call out who said what. Who said, "We don't wear the impact"?
Pamela?
Pamela it was. Who said, "Slave trade language"?
Trudy.
Trudy.
All you need is love.
David.
No.
Mara?
Tamara?
Tamara.
Mara.
Ants on a picnic.
Vicky.
Vicky. Drawing from a well that might be empty.
John.
John White.
That was good.
John's loafers to come by.
Vicky.
Oh.
Vicky.
Yes.
The same words broke me.
Pamela.
Pamela. Do you take a bath?
Shantae.
Shantae. And one more. Just a lot more chocolate.
You.
David.
Tom Hanks.
David.
Ah.
Well done. 2 ears, 1 mouth in that proportion. Congratulations, Toastmasters. Back to you, Judith.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yes, we do need some more chocolate. Just one thing I want to share with you. There is another Toastmaster Club Leaders Worldwide where Cynthia started after each meeting would throw out chocolate in the air and ask people, what kind of chocolate would you like? And then she would throw out chocolates in the air every meeting. It was really actually fun. That it's nice to have chocolate. Anyway, so let me give you a little bit of a short evaluation of the meeting. I think diversity was a perfect word for this. Was looking at the speeches and table topics. I love Trudy's speech. I was actually in Saint Martin, Grenada, and Martinique a very long time ago on a trip, and it is really quite beautiful, and Aruba at one time. So yes, go visit the Caribbean. It's really beautiful. And I love the quotes. I am one of those people who like quotes for table topics as well. And they were really wonderful, and the snap evaluation as well. Now, there's something that I would like to ask people to do. If you are late or you cannot come to this meeting, would you please let us know? And so then we don't have any confusion here. Who is the timer? And the timer arrives, and then the grammarian and evaluation. So just send somebody a notice, Toastmaster or Vicky or whoever it is. So then we can get the meeting together on time and not to wonder who is doing what. Anyway, the caring theme was really great, the team as well. And so good, great meeting. I thought we did well, diversified, which is really an important word for me as well. And now back to you, Toastmaster Sandra.
Thank you, Judith. Well, we are doing really great on time. So I'm going to do a little request of all of you. We are down a lot of people today, and I know a lot of people are suffering from contest fatigue, convention fatigue. They've got a lot going on, but we're missing half of our crew today. So I have a list here of every one of our members that didn't come today. Please pick out one person on World Caring Day to reach out and just say, hi, how you doing? We missed you today. Hope to see you in a couple weeks. How you doing? Just check in on them and show a little love, show a little care, show a little MoE spirit. With that, I'm going to ask Jackie, what did you think of tonight's today's meeting? I keep saying tonight because I'm looking at Ray Sweeney. Today's meeting.
Well, this morning, I'm here. It's morning for me. And I was running so late. I did not have any coffee, which made it very hard for me to just, you guys do a lot. And I wanted to be on my best behavior. But this is an impressive meeting with very impressive people from all over the world. And it's exciting to visit. I will visit again just because I know several people, and Judith, it's good to see you. And April also. But this is a great place and a great space to give speeches and get feedback in such an interesting manner. I'm still not sold on the SNAP table topics, but you guys do it well and with panache, as they say. Thank you.
Let's save that one for our word of the day, panache. And Pamela, you probably know this line. It was Jack Nicholson. You make me want to be a better man. What he says to Helen Hunt. This club makes me want to be a better speaker and a better evaluator. And one of the reasons that I love this club, as it's my favorite one, is because we are open with each other and say, yeah, let's work on this, let's improve. So we're constantly looking at how we evaluate, because that's the feedback. And as I said to a club last night, that's what we're paying dues for, is for your honesty. No more, that was a nice speech. We need to know what we need to know so that we can be a better man. Go out there, get the job, make the connections, get an interview, whatever it is that you're working on. This is a place to practice, practice, practice. Now, as I turn over my role of VPE over to Judith, I have a list of everybody's path that they're working on and at what level you've completed so far. But if you would be so kind as to either drop in the chat or send me an email later with what paths you're working on and what levels you've completed in each of them. I'd like to make sure that I hand over a good chart to Judith so that she can just pick up where I left off. Can you do that for me? Maybe today or tomorrow, that would be great. I'd like to get that done. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to our club president for, well, one more meeting. John.
I think I forgot to ask for the evaluator's timer report.
John? The other John.
Yeah.
Yes, we had David at 3:40. We had Vicky at 3:17. We had Judith at 1:45. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, back to the other John.
Impressive, John Graham. And this with under the effects of COVID. Can you imagine if he's 100%? He would rule the world. Well, it was a great meeting. Are we ending on time? I'm about to pass out. I've never faced this. I can always work on my 3 to 5 minute stand-up set if you don't mind. Joking, Judith, joking. Diversity. I'm reminded as I look at how many are we? 14, the power of the new members in Toastmasters. I mean, I love the OGs, as you call them, but just think about what this meeting would have been without Trudy, Tamara, Pamela. So it's always great to have new blood and what you bring. And as I say, I always learn something. David left, but when he said about Pamela's speech, you should use you more often, I was floored by that. I would have never come up with that. So you always, if you listen with open ears, Ray, and a warm heart, there's always candy here, is what I'm saying. It's always there. It's just you have to help yourself to it and be sure that you do your part to replenish the bowl, Tamara, to connect the dots there. Anyway, Jackie, you were already asked what you thought about the meeting. She texted me privately and said, you really have to be on top of your toes with this club. And that's really what it is. You can't take a day off. And usually we have a medical advisory that you should not join the meeting without having had your caffeine. That can often result terribly. So I think you're the first that was not caffeinated. So it was a great meeting. Yes, feel better, John Graham. And I think we will go to setting up our last meeting of the year. Vicky is going to do that. This meeting is adjourned. All of you that have the Vicky sponsored thumbs up, please show them. I know there's at least 3 or 4 of us. Yeah, Pamela, get yours. Oh, Pamela left it in the other room. Vicky,
I don't have mine.
Dante, okay. Anyway, it was a great. There we go. We're not a cult. We're just a regular supportive club. It's nothing.
I love that.
And I will send these overseas if you want one badly enough. All I need is I need you to say, I want one of those badass paddles. That's what we're going to call it.
Judith saying, take care of your face, and I want one. Judith wants one as well.
Yeah, I want one.
Okay,
yeah,
Judith.
Exactly.
I'm not overseas, but
yeah, exactly.
Close to the sea.
There you go.
Got it.
All
right.
It was a great meeting, everyone, and great table topics, Tamara. Your joy at giving those and the responses was wonderful. Really great.
It was fun.